Good morning, everybody. It is Alison Henderson here with our Listen with Your Eyes live. I am excited for our summer series because I'm going to be highlighting some of the past guests that have been on in our weekly installment to reintroduce you to them if you missed the original live. And obviously, we're not going to be playing the whole thing. So if you're jazzed about what you see here today, I encourage you to go over to my YouTube channel and find Kristin Lamar, her full LinkedIn Live, because we're only going to be sharing three little highlights from our talk. And Kristin is a intuitive success advisor. She has many programs that really help you find clarity for your life and your business. She is phenomenal at meeting facilitation and helping leaders with that. There's really nothing that Kristin can't do when it comes to personal and professional development, because as you will hear from her today, the two are so integrated that is really the secret sauce to everything that she does. So I want to start with when she was on in, I forgot to look it up, March, April. We talked about the possibility, right? We had talked about possibility mindset when I had Kay Coughlin on, and then she was the following week, and we took that one step further with something that she does with her clients, which is called What If? And so I'm going to start with a clip of that, and she's going to talk to us about the what if, and then I'm going to wrap around to sort of a new situation that I think this is really powerful for. So here is Kristin Lamar of Kristin Lamar Inspires.
So when we talk about possibility, we want to really think about how what if is the language of possibility. So I'll just let that land for a second, because most people don't ever hear it said that way. Usually, what if is all about doubt. It's all about fear. It's all about, what if this doesn't go well? What if LinkedIn Live doesn't go well? What if I'm late? What if I can't make it? What if my car breaks down? What if I can't pay my bills? So we have programmed ourselves that what if is about fear and worry and doubt, when the reality is what if is the language truly of possibility. So if we were to reframe that in possibility, what if would look like, what if today's the day I get invited to a seat at the big table? What if today's the day I land a great contract? What if today's the day that all the efforts that I've put out there have started to pay off? So when we wake up with our day in this what if game, as I say, because life is a game and we want to learn how to play it in this positive way, in a way that we can engage and overcome obstacles as quickly and easy as possible. And so what if game of the language of possibility allows us to do that right out of the gate.
All right, so this what if game, the idea of possibility. And so I'm going to get really vulnerable here for a minute. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to share this with you or whether I was going to say, there's a close acquaintance of mine that blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Let's just be honest. I've been going through some health challenges and actually have been diagnosed with a very serious disease in the last couple of weeks, which is part of the reason why we skipped 2 weeks because I was in the hospital. So, this particular thing, possibility mindset, right? Has been a struggle the last couple of weeks because my mind goes to all of the doubt and the fear what ifs, right? What if treatment doesn't work? What if I have to close my business? What if, right? All of those things. And I really had to use all of the work that I've done personally with Kristin in my own life to turn that around to the idea of what if I meet the right doctor today? What if we discover in my blood work, which actually there kind of is a new treatment for this. What if there you end up stronger and better than before? Like what are the great things that might, come out of this? So so when there are folks that you hear that are doing the what if game on that negative side, I really encourage you with your family, your friends, your coworkers to just suggest to them the opposite. Not necessarily, don't go there, don't have those negative thoughts. Those negative thoughts and feelings are totally honest, and that's okay. But you may be able to help them turn it around into that positive side. So if there is something going on at work, what if we don't get this contract? Will we be able to make payroll? Those sorts of things that are very, dire and near and dear to particularly small businesses, right? Yes, it affects big business, but really those day-to-day decisions end up becoming a little bit more important often for our smaller businesses. And when we can turn that into what if this client tells 5 of their friends and colleagues, and we get twice as much business? What if we need to hire more people, right? Instead of not thinking about being able to make payroll, what if we need to hire more people? Do we have that in place, right? So you need to think about all of those possibilities and really help your teams keep that possibility, that strong, healthy mindset. We know a lot about mindset, and a lot of it is just like, oh, let's say an affirmation. Well, if you don't really believe it, it is difficult for affirmations to really work in our lives. So instead of necessarily saying, everything is great in my life and the business is strong and if that's not really true, in the back of your mind's going, well, I don't believe you, positive mindset. I'm still back here. The gremlins are still talking to me. So if you can make it that what if, and that is, we play the what if game in some of Kristin's programs, which are great. And it's that turning it around. If you remember the old Toys R Us commercials, remember when they said, turn the frown upside down, and they had the little kangaroo jump on the frown and it turned it into a smile. If any of you out there remember those days, I know Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore, but or at least not in store. There's no stores anymore. But that is a real thing for us, is to turn those mindsets around. And the what if game can make it a little easier, I think, than just blind affirmation that you may not believe. So next, we're going to look at a different clip of Kristin's wisdom, and then we'll talk about that as well. If you have any questions as we're going along, make sure that you throw them in here. Hopefully I'll see it because I have the brand section up. I'll have to switch things over while she's talking and take a look around. All right, here's Kristin one more time.
Choice is another powerful thing to remember. So we can always choose and re-choose. That's the wonderful thing about life. That's a wonderful thing about being human. It's the wonderful thing about possibility. If we choose something and it doesn't quite work out, then we can go ahead and choose something else. And, we kind of identify some of these conscious thoughts as failure or fear or loss or whatever. But the reality is we can always re-choose. But the fact is we choose something. But going into clarity, I would say but you go into clarity to get that discernment, right? So how do we do that? How do we get really clear? And if you think about being clear is just crystallizing just down. So if we want to be clear, then we want to have crystallized thoughts. We want to crystallize our emotions. It's crystallizing an idea. So it's really, really, really just taking that time to crystallize how you feel, what you're thinking. And the way that I like to teach it in simplicity form is, if you're calm, then you can get clear. And if you're clear, then you can create. Because nobody's ever really created something monumental out of fear and destruction or being in complete disarray, right? Maybe out of a little frustration. But when things are really blowing up in your life, you're not real creative. Right? You don't really find answers to solutions. And we know energetically there's always a solution to every problem, every crisis, everything that shows up. So if we get calm, you'll get really clear. You'll crystallize what's happening, meaning the thought, the idea, the emotion, whatever's in that bubble. And then what happens, the calmer you get, that's when the answers come. That's the crystallization part. So then you get into being a creative, flow, or being in the creative flow. So that's how you can come together in that interdependence and in that what if, because people are getting clear. So
great. She has such great wisdom. It was difficult for me to choose just 3 little bits to share with you today. So this idea of becoming calm in order to become clear, in order to create. And this is, once again, reflecting back to what's going on in my life. It was difficult to be calm at first, right? When you're given a diagnosis that wow, is out of left field. You never thought this would be happening to you, kind of thing. So it was difficult to get calm. And then the clarity part, because there's a lot that you don't know. There's more that you don't know than what you know, particularly right now, where we are in this whole process of figuring out a treatment plan. So how do you get clarity? So for me, that involves research. For some other people, that just may involve coming, just meditating, just becoming calm and clear in their thoughts and things. For me, I needed to take action. I needed to feel like there was something that I had control over, because suddenly I didn't have any control. So, so tons of research. And now I have a lot of clarity. I know the type of treatment that I want. Now I just have to find the right doctors to give it to me. And so it brought a lot of clarity. And so now I'm back into creative mode, which is where I love to be, which is so much healthier for my mindset and all of those things. Is now I'm thinking about, okay, so this summer, maybe I'll write that business book that people keep asking me about, the business body language. So that might be coming in the fall if I can get it written over the summer. More online programs, more training. What creative things can I be doing, because I need to be occupying that mind, but it's not going to be occupied in the right way if I have a negative possibility mindset, or if I'm not calm and clear. So all of these things really work together, and that is the beauty of what Kristin can do in your life. Trust me, I've seen it. I've had it happen to me. So if you feel like you want to be more creative, or that you are blocked creatively, I would encourage you to to self-assess. Am I calm, and am I clear on what my needs and wants and desires are in order to turn on the right creativity? Because one of the pitfalls of that, right, is kind of like shiny object syndrome, where there's a lot of possibilities. And what I shared on Kristin's LinkedIn Live is the idea of when you are in that creative mindset, and when you're doing all of this, you get clear. But we have to watch, because a lot of clarity things in meditation might involve like yoga poses and things that end up actually really closing us off, or crossing us, crossing our legs, or crossing the body or something. Once you go through all of that and get really clear, I would encourage you to open up your body. Make sure that your arms aren't crossed, your legs aren't crossed, so that you are open. And the more open you're going to be physically will encourage the right open pathways to the creativity in your brain. So that is really the big, takeaway, body language wise, from this session today with you guys, is staying open for that creativity part. And once you're open and if you brainstorm, you jotted everything down, then you can focus back again. You can focus your body. You can bring things back in order to make choices. And as Kristin said at the beginning of that little segment, right, you always have a choice. And if you make a choice and you decide maybe that wasn't the right choice, then you could always re-choose. So don't think that the choice you're making is the be all end all. And that's also another thing, really great thing to keep in your mind. So we have one more little clip to share with you. Here we go.
I do think that personal development is the key to success, period. I think becoming your best self, learning things you don't know, identifying the things that are inside of you that aren't working, and really evolving as a human being is truly the key to success. And it's the key to success with other people. And that goes right into, you walk taller, you learn more, you share yourself more. You know when to put the pause, when you need a break, right? When you're done socializing, but you do it in a way with grace and integrity, and you have quicker responses to yourself, so that you can be, so that you really care how you impact others. Body language is huge. And that's the first thing we pick up. So also having the articulation for yourself that goes with your body language or explains to other people, that goes into the art of communication that you and I do.
So there you have it. That art of communication piece really brings it all together. It is the mindset in the words that you use with yourself, combined and with others, combined with that body language support. And you've heard me in all of these LinkedIn Lives talk about when there is a disconnect between your words and your actions. And as a reminder, human beings are more believing of your actions than they are of your words. And that's why it's super important that if you are, for instance, telling your team, great job, but that becomes sort of hollow if there doesn't seem to be a supportive, buoyant, uplifting body language piece to go with it, right? If they're saying great job and they're crossing their arms and they're looking all down, and it seems like it's suddenly satirical or ironic, or, wait a minute, are you being sarcastic here? Do you not mean that we're doing a good job? Similarly, if somebody seems to be going through all of the motions of being a really great friend or really appreciating you in things, and that it's a little bit hollow if they don't say thank you, or if they don't say, I really appreciate you or the work that you've done. It feels, or if they don't say it in front of others on the team, it feels hollow. Like, are you kind of doing this with everybody? Or, did you really think I did a good job on this? Or did the team do a really good job on this? And you need to acknowledge the team altogether. So we need to watch kind of those words that we say with the actions that we're giving, because if there's going to be a disconnect, and oftentimes it's unintentional. We're not purposefully giving a disconnect. It's just happening. And so that's also something to go ahead and encourage and question. One of the things that I do in all of my trainings now is really encourage the teams that I work with to speak up and to comment on the body language that they're seeing. I notice that you seem a little down today. Is there anything that I can do to help? Or you're telling us this, but your body language is really closed off to us right now, so I'm not really sure whether you're being truthful with us. Like, you have to get to that point where your teams can be that honest with one another, because then you start to notice and realize your own habits and maybe some things that you need to change. We can't observe ourselves when it comes to body language, right? So or at least it's very difficult unless you set up video cameras all over the place and then watch yourself, and nobody likes to watch themselves. And so you do need to have other people, or at least a colleague that you trust, to say to them, hey, I would really like to work on my nonverbal behavior. Would you tell me if there are things that I'm doing that seem to go against my words? Or do you notice if I have any habits that I should be curbing? Some people tap their pencils on desks. Some people twirl their hair. Some people touch their neck or adjust their tie. Or there's something that have become physical habits that we need to take care of as well. And if you have somebody on your team that will help you with that, that is great. And you could do the same for them. It really works great as a buddy system. Well, those are the three things that I wanted to highlight today. I do need to keep this short because I have an 8:30 meeting this morning. So I am going to wrap it up here. Let me check one more time and make sure there were no comments that I missed. All right. If you, once again, want to see the entire Kristin Lamar interview, which was fabulous, if you go to the my YouTube channel and just look up Moving Image Consulting on YouTube, under playlists, there is one that says LinkedIn Live, and I believe hers is there. If not, all of the lives have their own place, so you can also go there to see it. But I'm pretty sure I uploaded it both places. So please visit the whole thing. If you want to find Kristin and ask her more, you can go to KristinLamarInspires.com and sign up for a consult with her. That's it for today, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We will talk next week on Tuesday morning, and it will probably go back to its normal time, which I think was 8:30. But we will see what next week brings. All right. Have a great one, everybody. We'll talk next week.